friends, welcome to today's video. Today I want to talk a little bit about 10 ways to simplify your finances, and who doesn't need to simplify their finances to be in better shape? Stay tuned. Hey, it's great to have you here today. If you are a returning subscriber, it is so awesome that you tuned in. If you are new to my channel, it is so awesome that you're here. I love making videos about minimalism, simplifying life in a healthy way, sustaining healthy lifestyle. So if you're interested in those topics, consider subscribing. Okay, let's dive right into the topic. I think I have changed my finances. I have overhauled them in the last few years. I used to be so paycheck to paycheck, and even though I was self-employed, I always made it for, in some way, shape, or form, but it was never with a lot of intention. And when I started getting more intentional, my life changed for the better. So I'm going to share with you 10 ways to simplify finances that helped me a lot, that helped me to actually build wealth a little bit, to where, one day, of course, my hope is to be a lot more financially independent. The first step that you must do, if you have not already, make a budget. And for me, making a budget was always too much work. I personally don't like writing things down by hand and then doing it every single month. But what is really cool, there's a tool called everydollar.com. You can go to the website. It is by Dave Ramsey. Nobody sponsors this. I just have been using this tool myself for the past 3 years or so, and it has totally changed the trajectory. I love how you can just enter numbers and you see at a glance. It'll just take all the numbers from the last month and it will just plug in for the new month when you start a new month. So if you have recurring monthly expenses or also recurring monthly savings, let's just say you put in $50 in a specific savings account every month, you can plug that in, and you can also tell it if it's like a savings that it needs to add, so you can actually see your balance, how much you have been saving already. Or if you're paying off debt, you already see how much debt you have left. Of course, it doesn't really consider interest rates and all that, but it gives you a really good idea and nice goals, what to shoot for. And above all, you always have this little, on the top, you have like, this is how much is left. The goal should be to not have to spend your entire income, but to put most of it away in savings and to live on less and less. Okay, the next point is to set up automatic bill pay. This has simplified my life so much. I have not had a late fee in a long time just because of the fact that I set everything on autopilot. Everything that possibly can be deducted automatically, I have it automatically paid or deducted from my account. They do an automatic draft. The thing is, the money is just gone automatically. So I always get tempted, if I don't put it on autopilot, to wait. Just like, oh, maybe my account needs to have a little bit more money in it. I don't know. It's a psychological thing. Just when I see an account balance, it hurts me to see it go down by me going in there and now doing a transfer or paying a bill, and then I see it go down. But if it's just automatically taken out, I don't know. It's a different psychological thing, and it makes it so much easier for me to pay bills, because in the end, what I see is, okay, this is how much money I actually have, and that's after I've paid all the bills. Step number 3 is to reduce your monthly commitments. That's where every dollar comes in again. I review my monthly commitments all the time. I run a business also. I'm a full-time YouTuber. I have a different channel. In case you don't know me yet, I have a singing channel. I'm a professional singer and vocal coach, and I have a team right now. And I have all these expenses and tools that I use. I try to go very minimal and really only pay for things that are really, really important and that really actually move the needle. There are tools you can get that are nice, but maybe there sometimes are some free alternatives, and maybe there are things you don't necessarily need. So always going back into your budget and always reviewing, is it something I really still need? Am I still using it? Is it really worth the money? Or could I just scratch it out? And it's really cool because you may need something now, but maybe 6 months down the road, you're at a point to where you can say, well, actually, I found a different way to do it, or like Photoshop is one of those things. I used to pay for Photoshop monthly and I never used it because I have to install it on my computer. And now for the past few years, making thumbnails and all the graphics I need, I've been just using online tools that are free. So like Adobe Spark and Canva, they're awesome and they do everything I need them to do. Plus, they're in a cloud. I don't need to install a program. They don't need updating or anything like that. So no need for Photoshop. So that was something I used to need, but with the arrival of so many really cool tools, I could just scratch it out. Step number 4, that may seem counterintuitive if we're talking about simplifying finances, is that I will tell you that what has simplified my financial life and made it better was to actually create multiple bank accounts. And here's the reason why. Having one bank account can get really complicated if you use it for many different things. So of course, in my case, I have like my personal things that go on, like just for my personal life. And then I have things that go on for business. Then I have taxes that I only have to, like, once a year I review, and then I have to pay probably what I didn't pay enough. And so I have the quarterly taxes, the yearly taxes, and then I have once a year the car insurance comes out, and once a year the car tax comes out. Yes, here in Germany we actually have a vehicle tax, which is quite high, especially if you're driving a diesel, and there are lots of diesels, like really cool cars. It used to be a little bit messed up because, some of the things that come out just yearly or quarterly, or let's say I want to have an account dedicated to saving for a new home one day. That is one of the things that I recently talked about. That is one of my big dreams, to build a home or to get a new home. And in order for that money to be safe and to not be touched, I actually open multiple accounts. Romy already has multiple accounts. She's my daughter, she's 8 years old. I have one account for her where I save, I send money there automatically. It's an automatic draft from my account to her account, where that is a long-term savings for her. That is for long-term. So when she's out of school, the good thing is here in Germany, we don't have to pay for universities and college. So it's basically the government pays for it, which is awesome. She can go travel the world, or she can get her driver's license, which here in Germany costs an arm and a leg, or she can, put it toward a car that she wants to buy. She can do with it whatever she wants, but for now, this is her long-term savings. I'm trying to teach her how much that is. I also have an investment account for her already. We're putting money away and just getting some ETFs just to kind of show her how money can actually grow. If you just put money somewhere, it will work for you if you don't spend it. So she already has multiple accounts. She also has an account where she can just, learn how to use a debit card. She has a children's account that comes with a debit card. So I put a little bit of money, like her allowance goes in there, and she can actually already work with debit cards and just see what that is like to figure out balances, like kind of run a checkbook. And I think that is a really good thing. For me, having multiple accounts has saved my life, just because I separate out things so I don't spend money I don't really want to spend or need to spend. The next thing is, of course, to not have a credit card, but I still have a credit card just because of the fact that, here in Germany, the debit cards don't work internationally. And I actually have, my goodness, I have a lot of accounts. I can tell you. I also have a TransferWise account where you can carry a balance in multiple currencies, just because of the fact that I do business in US dollars, and then I also do some business in euros, and a lot of my customers are in the US. It just makes it so much easier. But having only one credit card where you actually put like credit on, like where you have a balance and you just pay it off, otherwise, I think you're going to get all messed up. If you have 3 credit cards, it's, again, unless you put them on autopilot bill pay, but I prefer to use debit cards, if any card at all, if possible, because the money comes out instantly. So pretty much the next day you see it on your account balance and it's already deducted. With credit cards, it takes until you get your next statement, or you log in and you see your statement, how much they spend, and then you actually have to, I don't know, it just drags behind. So having only one credit card to where you always have the full overview of, okay, what was put on the credit card. For example, I have one tool that I use for my business, and the only way to pay is by credit card. And I know when that comes out, but also, you know, because I only have one credit card, I know exactly what credit card it's put on. And so I can go immediately, when that is deducted in September, I can go immediately and pay off the balance. And that way it's out of the way. And other than that, pretty much the balance is zero. I only use it when I travel, when I really need a credit card. But I try to just keep a good overview. Tip number 6 is don't buy anything on credit. Credit is so bad. It is so bad nowadays that you can walk in a store and you don't even see a price tag for what the item actually costs, but you see a price tag for this is how much it costs monthly. Like if I wanted to buy a TV or a washer, a lot of times in the stores, it'll say, this is how much it is per month. And I'm like, I want to know, how much does this item actually cost? It really messes with your psychology. And a lot of times they fool you into thinking, well, if you can just pay $10 or $15 or $20 a month, that is so little. But it takes away, just think about, what would the $10 do if you actually put them in an ETF fund? What do $10 over the course of a year or two? What are you taking away from your future wealth? It's a lot. Even the $10 a month can make a dent. And even if it's $500, I'm like, dude, I'm not giving away all that compound interest. If I want to get anything, I'm going to always pay cash. If I don't have the money, not getting it. That is the rule number 1 here. The only exception is buying a house, because I just don't have a few $100,000 or euros lying around, and I would actually like to live in the house before I'm 65 years old. So that to me is the only exception. Getting a house, a home, is something you want to enjoy it now, because really that is just, I think it's your personal preference. Ideally you would save early, just like I'm teaching my daughter. You would start saving early so you have a really good chunk of money, not when you're old, but already when you're 20, 25, you already have a nice chunk. You can make it work for you, you can add to it. That puts you in such a better position to even buy a home, that, you know, you want to live in the home. You don't want to be 75 and then you say, well, now I have $500,000. Now I can get a home, and now it's not worth it anymore, because who knows how long you're still going to be alive and enjoy it. But please, it's so not worth it to buy consumables on credit. Don't do it. It's going to simplify your life. It is just horrible to have more bills. So have as few bills as you possibly can, and that already makes you feel so much lighter when there's even just less bills coming in, less people wanting money from you. It's a great place to be. Step number 7, and actually it goes before everything else, but it doesn't matter where you're at in this journey, get out of debt. You have to get out of debt. It is such a bad feeling. I remember when I had that burden on my shoulder when I was still in debt, and people wanted something from me. I was afraid to go to the mailbox because I knew, is there going to be another bill again? Do I have to pay that? And it's such a waste. When you're in debt, you're paying for things. You might not have the things anymore. You may not be using them anymore. It's so not worth it. So get out of debt and stay out of debt forever. And like I said, the only exception is really a home. Because to me, personally, I would have to pay rent if I didn't buy my home, and I would have a lot less freedom to do what I need to do with my home. So for me, it's absolutely worth having my home, because I would probably, at this point, I bought my home for such a great deal, 10 or 11 years ago almost, and the house has doubled in value right now, and I would be paying double the rent from what my actual monthly payment for the house is. That's why it's so worth it for me. And here where I live, homes are getting more and more and more and more and more expensive all the time. So investing in a home here where I live is totally worth it. Step number 8 is put your investments on autopilot. So once you're out of debt, and this is what I have done, instead of paying for crap that you went into debt for, that doesn't even matter anymore, invest in your future and put your investments on autopilot. I know there are a lot of people out there, especially here in Europe and Germany, they still have this idea of stocks mean you're trading. That's not what it is. When you buy stocks and you buy them with the mentality of, I'm going to invest in a business and I'm going to participate and I'm going to be part of this. I give them my money to work. And I did my research about that business. It has a history of being reliable. And I believe it's going to also be reliable in the future. Of course, nobody 100% knows the future, but just investing in a business, give them your money and it'll work for you. The buy and hold, just like Warren Buffett always preaches, buy at dumping prices. For example, in Corona times, I invested in April when it was at the lowest point and I'm happy. The stock that I bought back then went way high. Now it just increased by 50%, some of the stock that I got. Now, this is October 2020. It was just announced that Donald Trump's health is getting better. He had the Corona and his health is better. And now the stocks are getting really high. No buying, don't buy. However, I have an autopilot to where I do a savings plan for several stocks. I just have a portfolio with like dozens of different stock and it just automatically is deducted. On the 1st and the 15th every month, I have money go out. I go like 50 on this, 50 on that. These are all the stocks that I want to invest in long term and hold for like forever. This is my emergency. This is my retirement. And I can tell you, I've been doing this for the past, I don't know, maybe 3 years. And the stock that I invested in, from what I paid for it, I have made plus 100%. It's more than plus 100% right now at this point. This has been the best thing. Just autopilot. I always put money in that and the stock just keeps being more and more valuable. You may want to check with your bank. There are also things like eToro. I think that is an American company. I just started an eToro account also, but never trading. I don't trade. I do my research, buy and hold, and then leave the money in there forever. It's just my cushion. This is my cushion. And that's why I have also my other savings accounts for things that I save for that the money is going to be spent for. Like getting a new car, I'm saving, but I'm not keeping it forever because I'm actually going to spend it on something. And that's already dedicated to that. Step number 9 that has really simplified my financial life is to get the apps on your phone. And it might seem, well, I don't have my phone with me. It might seem like it would be more complicated, but for me, not waiting on bank statements, I always want to know at a glance, where am I at with my finances today? And I don't know, it just makes me happy looking at account balances and I see there is money in there. And even when I was in debt, it really had this psychological effect of, okay, this is what I need to knock out. This is where I need to be. It just has the psychological effect of you seeing the money, seeing the balance, just will put it top of mind for you. And I think it's really important to always have in mind, what do I have in this account and in that account? What's my balance right now? And I do this every day. I love looking at my balances because now it's never a negative. It's always a positive. And as I told you, I have several accounts. It feels so good to go in and say, oh, today all my stock, it's pretty good. It went up a little bit again. And then another day I will look, it's like, oh, it went down, but it's also going to go up again. So maybe I could buy a little bit more of this stock because it went down. It's really cheap right now. I could invest a little bit more. So it's really cool to have all those apps on your phone to always have the overview. And the last step, number 10, is to go paperless. I have really switched to doing just a lot of digital stuff. I scan bills or I just download them and I save them in a cloud. And I don't print out a lot of stuff anymore. My CPA needs all the paper, but really they only need it in digital form also. And so going paperless has really, I don't really get any bills in the mail. Maybe per year, it's not a lot. It's less than 10 bills that I get in the mail per year. Everything else, my phone bill, my cell phone bill, my water bill, my gas bill, it's all sent, it's all sent digitally, and it's also automatically deducted. All I get once a year is like a statement for, all my utilities. I get a statement and it says, this is what I paid over the year, and I need it also for my CPA because I use part of my house for, my job, and so I can deduct that part of the house as a business expense. So these were my 10 tips or 10 steps to simplify your financial life. Your finances are so important. I think when you have your finances in order, you sleep so much better. I can say that for myself. It used to be a mess and I had a pretty stressful life back then. Now I have the overview. I'm in a good place just because I have the overview and I have done those things that I talked about today. It just gives me so much more peace of mind. It makes a huge difference. You feel like a different person. You're at ease. I have a financial cushion, so even if I got sick, I have a little bit of money saved up for, at least 6 months so I could still operate. So let me know in the comments, what are the things that you want to do now? And what are the things that you may already do? Or maybe you want to add something to the list? What have you done to simplify your finances that has really helped you? I think we all need to learn more about our finances just because of the fact that we are not taught. A lot of our parents didn't know any better, and also schools don't teach this, and it's such an important skill to even teach our kids. Thank you so much for watching today. Make sure you subscribe for more videos about minimalism, decluttering, simplifying your life, and healthy lifestyle. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time.